So the J's taken off, but no more speculation.
Getting into picks and bans, game number 1 between Armor Project as well as Steel Wolves.
You have to imagine all the standard bans go away. Akali pops to the front of my mind, as well as the Jace and the Aatrox. So don't be surprised if you see any of those taken out for game number 1.
Jace is going to be taken out right away here by Armor Project.
There
Again, we reference the tweet that came out from Yamata Cannon earlier today, which is he believes Olaf has taken over as the new trap pick in the top lane, meaning it's going very well for teams in scrims, but he believes that it's very easy to be abused and not great at actually winning competitive games. He said it's overtaken champions like Jace, who teams are still playing, very popular in the Southeast Asian service, already seen play today as well. Kiana is the first ban coming out from Steel Wolves. Karma going to follow shortly after.
Not a fan of the top lane Olaf, but still a fan of the jungle just because his Qs do slow. Top lane Olaf more or less just is there for the damage, and when you run out of mana, not that great, but not even going to be a problem for either of these two teams. Can't fall into the trap if it's disabled.
Permanently banned at the moment, Olaf is. Nautilus and Jarvan will follow through as Armor Project's final 2 bans. And first pick coming out from Armor Project is going to be Yumi.
Yeah, so you can clearly see that Aatrox has fallen down in priority to the point where you actually want to pick up the support as opposed to the top side of your map in the first rotation. Very bold of them to do so, but it also enables XSW to pick up everything that they possibly can. I mean, Sejuani is still open, like we said, and the top tier jungler now that every other one is banned.
Well, we've got a cat on one side, and the first 2 picks right meow for Steel Wolves is going to be Nico as well as Ezreal.
Can't believe you. But here's actually one that we haven't talked about. A hard 180 on what you just said. And yeah, the Sylas pickup is so strong in the jungle right now. Not only is he a fun champion to play in the jungle, but if you can out-level the bottom lane of your opponents and you go down there as soon as you hit level 6, you can actually steal some very important ultimates. Still up to XSW to see which ultimate that he steals from the support, but any one of them can be deadly.
Yeah, some Meowtastic picks coming out as Sylas and Ashe both getting locked in for AP. Bit of a meow saying, don't you think? And then Thresh is going to be the final pick coming in for Steel Wolves in their first draft phase.
Yep. Thresh, very nice. Not a lot of synergy with Ezreal. Usually you see Thresh paired with an immobile ADC, like coincidentally the Ashe on the other side, because the Lantern provides safety. I would have liked to see a Jinx with this, of course, in 2 different picks, so it is to be expected. However, it just means double security as well. Ezreal doesn't even need to... I don't even think that Ezreal needs to take a flash in this lane, although he probably does want to regardless. It's a very aggressive one where they can always play forward.
It sure is. Let's see what the final bans are going to be here. Sejuani as well as Aatrox are both being taken off the table here by Steel Wolves. Gragas and Elise and the 2 bans that are coming out from Armor Project, so really targeting Vansu's jungle pool.
Yeah, but still, you know, there are many available. You just go to the A tier, the S tier is banned away. Pony's on the Rift.
Pony on the Rift here. That should be going into Vansu's hands. Now, we do know that Azure can play that champion. Wonder if he actually goes towards the Renekton. Nope, taken away by Sega. One of Azure's favorite picks is that Renekton in the top lane.
Also getting buffed on this patch as well, breaking shields with his W, and just in general, a little damage increase all around. So it's not going to be the most punished lane, although still into a ranged matchup of the Nico is going to be very difficult for him. It's up to the very final pick to see if this is the Nico mid, most unlikely. The Azir is still available, and it's just sticking out like a sore thumb to me.
But we're going to get Corki, who's off to snuff and got himself a cat machine, as Azir is going to be locked in. Chicken on one side, cat on the other, crocodile in between.
Wow. You just went absolute ham with that when you even
We're
missed
in
the horse in the jungle.
Absolute zoo. Absolute zoo going on right now, and you're right in the middle of it, Preacher.
I'm in the middle. Well, I quite like to be in the middle because Vansu's also in the middle with that Hecarim in the early game, going to have so much pressure. That is, of course, where Sylas falls short. Before level 6, none of his abilities really do that much in a PvP situation. Can steal jungle just fine, but if he ever wants to influence a lane, it's going to be really tough for him. So that is the avenue open for Vansu to really take over the game. And as we know, whatever happens in laning phase usually transitions into the mid to late game.
Yeah, but again, thank you very much, TSM Jat, for our Azir versus Corki meta.
Love it.
You've done great service to the patch team before retiring and going back to competitive casting. Really appreciate it. You brought back this meta.
I mean, it's every single time, right? It's long range, it's security. What can you say, Fish? You would do it too.
Well, let's get on to Summoner's Rift for our second set and first game of this set. Steel Wolves taking on Armor Project. Everyone just spreading out. Nothing much happening at the beginning. Raphael just going to get a little bit of poke damage coming in.
Yeah, not too much in the early game. So we have some time and a little bit of a lull to check out the lanes. And let's go in reverse order, Fish, because I like looking at the bottom lane. It's usually the most influential because it's the most to snowball. Checking out this matchup, normally Ezreal wins every single 1v1 at level 1 just because there's nothing that can counter an auto Q burst. However, Ashe with a W at level 1 as well, also very potent to fire back. So
Ashe also been a long time counter against Ezreal, and you know what's even worse than Ashe? Double Comet bot lane.
Yeah, that's pretty annoying, and that's exactly what they're going for. No heal available for the bottom lane of XSW either, so that's going to be really punishing. If they absorb too much poke, it means Ezreal has to back. Obviously with the teleport, not the biggest worry, but still a teleport on the other side as well. So tempo advantage, you would have to assume, will always go over TP.
Well, we're going to get double red buff start. Alves on his jungle Silas. Going to be able to take that one nice and early, whereas Hecarim going to be starting on his own. Both sides getting a leash. First volley coming out from White Wing, not going to connect onto YJY or Sly. Instant hook going on towards Yuumi. Yuumi very squishy early on, but dashes straight back on towards White Wing to get back to safety.
Yeah, I was going to say, the one advantage that Silas jungle has is because you know that you're not going to be influencing lanes that early in your clear. What you can do is you can actually move from red to Krugs. It's not an optimal pass for most people, but it provides the most experience, and that's exactly what Alves wants to do in this game. That's the matchup because Hecarim's always going to have the early game.
Well, you've seen the exact same thing. Hecarim's gone straight from his red buff over towards Krugs as well, so he's going to be able to pick that one up. Steel Wolves bottom lane do hit level 2 first, so they will be able to go and zone out the opponents here. Zero on the top side of the map here. Picking up top lane Nico. Yep. Changes to Renekton are quite promising. No shields for him to really burst down in this matchup. But still some big changes coming out. He's gone for the Glacial Augment on his Nico top, so going to be able to slow down Sega every time he gets these auto attacks off. Yeah,
that's the important thing. He wants to go for this because it's the most important trading tool that he has available into Renekton. The double dash, obviously very difficult to deal with as a Nico, but the slow means that Sega is completely defanged in this 1v1 matchup.
You can already see very good trades come out from Azure very early on, landing the Pop Blossom, weaving in auto attacks as well. You can take one in return, that's completely fine. Pops a corrupting pot.
And that's exactly what you'd expect, Fish. There's no counterplay available. If Sega decides to dive in, would most likely get rooted and completely get bursted down.
Especially with the minions in there. Sega touches a 0-1, so those minions are going to turn around and aggro him. Slice away, gets away from the Pop Blossom, but still going to get locked down and constantly poked by Azure in the top lane. Azure has been one of the best top laners in the Philippines for quite some time.
Yeah, and for good reason as well. Picking up the range matchup.
No, make it stop. That's not okay. Pop goes the Crocodiles. Azure just picked up a very, very casual first blood in the top lane.
Yeah, he wanted some leather boots for himself, and Crocodiles do that just fine for him. So Sega falling down in the 1v1, Glacial Augment so far pays off.
And we found our new Steve Irwin, and Azure just puts on a clinic top side of the map. Checking in with bottom lane now. YJ and Slice still doing perfectly fine here against White Wing. You'd have to say that this matchup, in terms of player strength, is definitely going in favor of Steel Wolves. Philippines is one of the up-and-coming regions, especially with the rise of Liab. Whereas Indonesia, one of the weaker regions that are in Southeast Asia at the moment.
Of course, they have an uphill battle to play, but for right now, White Wing is doing just fine, and a lot of those props have to go to Potato as well. The healing factor into a poke champion completely defangs him, and the poke to go back to a no-heal composition, once again, a victory.
You just look at the items that have been picked up here as well. Zero's gone back to base, picked up a Hextech Revolver. That's going to amplify the damage on all his auto attacks every time he throws out a spell. Sega can't get anything, just goes back and buys a Doran's Blade. He's got no regeneration besides the innate regeneration from his Doran's Shield and Doran's Blade. Azure's also going to get a nice freeze here. 3 corrupting potions available. This lane's pretty much done for Sega.
Yeah, exactly. So unless there's a visit from Alves to the top lane early, which is very heavily countered by that aggressive control ward, then it's not going to be easy for Renekton to ever turn it back. At the very least before level 6, and even afterwards with the Pop Blossom as well, you'd have to imagine that it's a tough lane where Renekton wants to get out and actually influence the rest of the map. Luckily, there's a lot of fighting, so it's not as if he has nothing to do with his time, but it's still going to be very heavily up to Alves to coordinate it on somewhere else in the map.
Still some really good trades bottom side of the map for Armored. They're able to, chunk out Steel Walls quite effectively down there underneath their own turret. Armored Project All the other lanes not having the best of times. Corki and Azira just farming back and forth. We saw a quick gank in the mid lane from Vansu, which knocked Corki back to base, giving Pain a nice 10 CS lead. And gotta be careful here. Vansu is looking to try and go for a turret dive against Sega, and this could be disastrous.
Oh boy, the pop blossom.
Azure gonna try and jump through first. Alva's gonna jump into this one. This could go wrong for Azure. Force the flash away. Alva's gonna try and follow through. Vansu's able to kite away from this one. So botched turret dive coming out from Vansu, but good cover coming out from Alves.
Yeah, at the very least, nobody dies in that process, and with all the corrupting pot stacks, Azure should still be able to clear this one up. Oh, and then he just goes back to business as if nothing happened in the top lane at all, bullying Sega out.
Does have to worry a little bit now, especially with top side of the map, you know, picking up level 6 on this Renekton. Not going to be best of things. Alves, though, going to get locked down here. Good damage from Vansu. Conqueror's proccing as well. Ignite is ticking. And Emperor of Sharina just slides in. Very simple kill being picked up by Steel Wolves inside of Armor Project's jungle.
That's it. The electrocute comes up massive for Pain as well. And even though both level 6s were hit, those puny rockets from Raphael without any scaling, early game doesn't do anything.
Raphael taking some damage. Pain just throwing out these soldiers, chipping away at Corki. Every single time he steps up, the Corgi's going to take some damage. Even more animals in this rift.
And that is exactly why I like the electrocute much more than I like the lethal tempo, is just because in the early game laning phase, you can actually trade with a WQ and auto attack. Yeah, it's just so strong coming out, and Pain is utilizing it so effectively, especially into Raphael, who's now been forced out of lane twice and will miss this wave as well.
A very painful back time for Raphael. You can be forced out the first time, use your teleport, get back in fine. But if you're not in lane when your package comes back up, no free recall for you.
That's exactly what I was trying to talk about as well. Recalling just before the first package comes in is such a huge punishing factor onto Corki, and that is exactly what Pain wanted to do. Even willing to burn his flash potentially just to get Corki back into his base means that this is going to be such a delayed, delivery.
Alva's now posturing down towards bottom side of map. Level 6 is available for this Silas. YJY and Slide have been taking some poke damage here and there, but they're perfectly fine. This bottom lane do have to be careful. Silas is looking to try and get in from behind.
No vision either from both of these two, but they should know that it's actually Silas who was there waiting with a control ward, simply because there is no way that any bottom lane without a dash plays without a minion wave towards the Thresh.
We're going to try and jump on towards Vansu now. Ultimate's going to come out. He just charges away from that one. Beautifully juked coming out from Vansu. This blue buffer. Here we go. Emperor of Shurima knocks them both backwards. Sly's able to fire one. Vansu jumps in with the lantern as well. Raphael's got Yuumi on top of him, but not for long. Ultimate's going to come up from Yuumi, locks down 3 players, but they're still chasing through. Yuumi very squishy, over the wall they go. Fantastic hook coming out from Sly. That's all she wrote. Steel Wolves pick up 3.
That is it. The botched engage into the bottom side of the jungle. And initially you saw that Alves actually wanted to force him out, stole the Hecarim ulti, couldn't actually land it, allowed him to get out. But then again, huge props to Vansu, because he comes back in on barely any health, finishes it off, and then gets out.
Fantastic play from Steel Wolves. Vansu as well, living dangerously in that fight, but playing that one very well from Steel Wolves, already picking up a nice 3,000 gold lead, a comfortable lead for themselves against Armor Project.
Yeah, and everybody except the support has a kill on SW, so that is so much gold. And, you know, we were talking about right after the first series, it definitely looks like in the LST that whoever gets the lane dominance, it looks very difficult to actually wrangle away from their hands. So
sorry, game 2, last game. What are you talking about?
Look, we don't talk about that over here, but this is the re-engage. Take a look at Vansu in specific, so low on HP, but knows that he can actually engage because Sly walks backwards as he throws his lantern. Vansu goes in, gets the kill, conquers as well, then leaps back out. Raphael is caught by the wind, and in the end, it's a Yuumi. It's just a Yuumi by herself in the enemy jungle.
That's just dirty as well. Poor Yuumi getting locked down.
The extra hook just for the disrespect at the end. Yeah.
Raphael just had his package expire. Alves got the ultimate coming from Azure. Big ultimate coming out from Nico. Vansu going to try and jump in as well. Good use of the stopwatch. Keeps himself alive. Sega gets that first kill. All of them very low. Pain's going to try and collapse. Sly is here as well, looking to try and jump on towards Raphael. Pulls him backwards. Pain jumps in. Good hook. Steel Wolves will trade 2 for 1 in favor of AP, but they're not done just yet. Pain looking to try and get some more. Sega and Alves both trying to slice away from this one. They successfully disengage.
In the end, it's just a sacrificial lamb for Raphael, but very good collapse from SW to actually pick up that kill. Could have potentially got 2, but forced many summoners. Alves is going ham, given how much he isn't actually winning the jungle matchup.
And fair play to Armor Project, able to take full advantage of this and continue pushing in that bottom lane where, oof, shot after shot, getting some good damage onto YJY there. He's not going to be too happy about that.
Yeah, obviously the threshold with the go.
Comes through, simple pickup coming out from White Wing. As soon as that arrow hits, it's lights out, but here comes Azure. Nico going to try and chase. Sly's going to try and jump in here too. Flash is available for Ash, can try and get them back to safety. Teleport's going to come in back in return. They hook onto Yuumi. Yuumi in a lot of trouble, taking so much damage. Able to jump back on towards Ash. Now Sly in some trouble. Azure going to live through this one. Not close enough to pick up any more kills. But again, good fighting coming out from Armor Project.
Yeah, well done. And they actually used their teleport advantages as well, as you had to use it to the turret and chase a mile just to get to the rest of the team. Meanwhile, Sega just casually strolls in with his double dash, didn't even need to use it in the engage, and finds the return for himself.
I only think Steel was really able to get out of that one was top side of map. Vansu was able to push in underneath the turret quite nicely. Now he's being chased away by White Wing as well as Yuumi.
Yep.
Still chased on towards him. Good damage coming out from White Wing. Forces Vansu to use that ultimate. A couple more attacks would have been enough to take him down.
Yeah, and he had to use the ulti because he was permanently slowed by the Ashe as well. Essence Reaver already in the inventory, and that is such a considerable lead in the bottom lane. It doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon. Only 12 minutes means that there's still some turret plates to pick up in the top lane.
Very utility-based item for Ashe to pick up as well, so she's going to be able to throw out a lot more arrows, especially picking up just 12 minutes into the match. Lanes have swapped, however, so we're going to have 80 carries on the bottom side for Steel Wolves, whereas on the top side we're going to have 80 carries for the side of Armor Project. Sega can do what he can to try and deal with this wave. Alvis down here as well. Good damage on towards Sega coming out from YJY as well. Slide just deterring him from, aggressing any further forward.
Great punishment, but I want to go back to the point of the Essence Reaver as well. Not only is it utility, but you've also got the extra damage. Comet Ashes rely very heavily on their Ws for poke, and the Ws have such lower cooldown because of the Essence Reaver, so it works very well into whichever lane he's playing into. Even Azure in the solo lane compared to the duo lane still works out fine.
We do have the lane swap, and the gold has been equalized between these two teams. Very good, solid start coming out from Steel Wolves, but fought back quite nicely coming out from Armor Project.
Yeah, working out very nicely. YJY will be able to pick up what little he can off the backside of this back from the Renekton, but still, Sega's already coming back in, so only one turret play.
Let's see, Steel will still look like they want to stay down in this bottom lane. No threat of anyone coming down here anytime soon. First package was a whiff coming out from Corki. And junglers are on the top side of the map at the moment, so it's a strict 2-on-1 in both lanes for now.
And there's also a good reason why they wanted to switch their bottom lane into the top side AP, that is. And that is because the Rift Herald is so much more important than the next dragon that's coming up. Only a Cloud Drake, nothing to tickle their fancy. Of course, you would want it on the Hecarim and deny it away from him. But still, that Rift Herald in the early game can do so much for them, especially considering that they've got the early game one-item spike.
They're trying to lock down Azure here. Ash Arrow's going to go wide, uses the ultimate, forced to use his own Zhonya's. Vansu now going to try and charge in. Azure able to live through this one. Final volley's going to come through to pick up that kill. Vansu now looking to try and jump back in. White with some good damage. Pain going to try and charge on through as well. Vansu going to be a bit careful, forced to back away. Pain gets that final tick of damage. And you're going to see the passive come out from Vansu. Or sorry, one of his runes come out from Vansu. Keeping him nice and topped up. They're still chasing on towards Potato. No escape for this Yuumi. There goes Vansu. Poor kitty cat goes back. And Sly's going to be able to pick up that kill.
Just the one auto attack. They abuse the fact that Sega is in the bottom lane without a teleport, so they can't defend top lane.
Let's go downtown. Oh, it stopped. Okay, Val. Oh my god. Pain. Woo!
Dang. I mean, this is the safest matchup that you can imagine in the mid lane, and still, Pain is making it look like a counter matchup. That is testimony to the skill of this side.
Well, Armor Project took some away from Steel Wolves in this match, but as soon as they took it away, Steel Wolves just fight back immediately.
The bit that they stole away was primarily due to the teleports, and yes, they have amazing teleport plays.
Stop it.
But you know the downside of relying on teleport plays? They have a cooldown, and a very hefty cooldown. Sega couldn't defend anything on the top side, loses that first heart, and now even this Rift Herald goes to the side.
Yeah, Steel Wolves are going to be able to pick up Rift Herald here. You can see the gold difference over the past 15 minutes. It's just bouncing back and forth, but always in control of Steel Wolves for now. They've been dictating when it rises back up towards theirs. Rift Herald being picked up here. No plates to take down with it, but they could potentially try and push for a turret such as mid lane. One charge would be enough to take that down.
Yeah, great deny away from AP, because AP want to use it to force a fight, especially with the Ashe ultimate. It's really great counter engage once somebody's already jumped in, like the Hecarim. So now with that disabled and potentially into their favor as well.
Here comes Speed Racer. Vance looking to try and charge the back lines. Zero going to do what he can. Pop Blossom comes through. YJY picking up a kill to White Wing. Even confused me. I thought that was really Vansu, but it was just a Zero charging on in. The mid lane turret's going to be broken. Well played from Steel Wolves.
And they don't even need to use the Rift Herald over here. That is the most punishing thing. That Raphael has package.
You won't do it. You won't do it. Yeah, you won't do it.
Don't challenge him, man.
But
that
he
was
won't.
a bad situation.
Look, he's not going to do it.
Obviously.
Exactly.
Would you do it?
Yes. I've got guts.
Yeah. Guts and not LP. I'll just say that.
Excuse me. I will fight you.
Yeah?
1v1 me mid.
All right. But for right now, we've got a game on our hands.
No, 1v1 me mid right now.
He's still... Okay, he let the package expire.
Second package is expiring for the side of Armor Project. Cloud Dragon's going to come up shortly. Second Cloud Dragon of the game. AP were able to pick up that first one.
The second one has to have more of a priority, because obviously you want that Cloud Drake onto the Hecarim whenever you can. His passive scaling damage with movement speed, obviously the thing that you want, and also just the safety that comes out with the Ezreal as well. Yeah, if ever you had a comp to prioritize Cloud Drake, this is it.
Azure going back to base will have his teleport up shortly. Going for the AP Nico, not for the on-hit Nico. Ultimate coming out from Ezreal just to scout out that dragon. Doesn't see anyone on it.
And now they're getting pushed off of this ward. Still providing just enough vision to know that multiple people of AP are stacking over here and don't want to abuse it. They can easily use this to force a fight. I mean, Ashe is right over here. And
you get him, Helga. Good damage.
Nearly.
Might still get it.
Yep.
Yeah, still gets it. So turret's going to fall. No local goal going to anyone.
And now they're rushing towards the Drake.
Pain actually just going to try and go toe-to-toe against White Wing as well as Yuumi jumps on top of them, forces the flash away. Doesn't get the lockdown immediately, but so much damage over towards White Wing. Meanwhile, Vansu's been able to pick up that Cloud Dragon. They do burn the flash on the 80 carry of Armor Project.
That is very important and crucial, because there is an ultimate available on Vansu. If White Wing steps way too forward in any situation whatsoever, maybe doesn't see the Hecarim due to a brush or due to a control ward, all of a sudden she can find herself completely collapsed on.
Alva's just spotting out as well that they're going for the red buff right after. Steel Wolves trying to force the issue here. Take as much as they possibly can. Sega does take down another turret for himself. So he got bottom lane earlier. Now he's going to take down top lane as well.
Taking that down for himself to get himself some extra gold. I mean, now that we're getting into the mid-game portion, it really is crucial that Sega builds as much as he possibly can, because this is where Renekton really shines. Normally he comes out of laning phase with a huge lead, not just a minor one that he has right now, but he's still going to be the primary damage and frontline for his team to make sure that he is the biggest focus for Steel Wolves. So expect to see him group up, or at the very least use his teleport and see the rest of his team orchestrate a team fight.
Well, we're getting towards the end of the early game, and it's about a 3,000 gold lead the Steel Wolves have acquired for themselves. Next major objective to come up is going to be Baron buff. One outer turret left standing in the mid lane for Steel Wolves.
Still that last one, and the denial of the Rift Herald as well means there's always going to be a very difficult one to pick up. But here's Vansu.
Now top lane, jungler against jungler. Alves going to go toe-to-toe, 2-level advantage for Hecarim. And he's got the Conqueror as well. Just not able to clip Alves with that ultimate.
Yep. Normally Hecarims take a Ghost in the jungle as well, so nice dodge away.
They're chasing him down there. Azure going to turn it to Hecarim, charge on forward. Poor Alves, nothing doing for him at the moment. Just going to lock down, slow down, nowhere really for him to run. Doesn't get the stun either. Ultimate's going to come out. YJY though, caught on the backside, forced to use the Zhonya's. We'll stay alive for now though. Uses that stopwatch quite nicely just to disengage. Steel Wolves get a free pick in the top lane.
Yeah, the slow collapse. And even then, White Wing doesn't want to push his luck any more than he can in the mid lane. Doesn't even chip down that turret. It was a 1 kill for nothing effectively. And Steel Wing and just picking up their advantages very slowly. Checking in with them right now, more than a 3k gold lead is usually the time when AP has to really start sweating and worrying about what sort of additional combat stats can come their way. And it's got to be really risky.
You can see the top 3 goal coming from the side of Steel Wolves. Going to be Pain, Vansu, and YJY. Zero's got some for himself, but behind Sega and White Wing, Raphael now going to try and back away. Poor Corki just stuck here. Now a teleport right behind them. That should be Sega. Azure going to try and do what he can. Jumps in. YJY probably going to be a casualty, but they split the wickets. Azure going to be able to back away. Yuumi trying to lock him down. Sega throwing out the ultimate. Sly in a lot of trouble.
No.
Double kill coming out from Sega. Pain now going to try and run away. Should be able to slide over this wall. Vansu is there as well. Sega not able to do anything for it. Vansu just hiding inside the brush. Not the best idea he's had all day, and he's going to be taken down.
Yeah, and now Pain is the last person alive. Fish, you got to watch out for this.
Yeah, Pain, look. Don't know about that flash on the spot, buddy, but it's a thing.
It's slow and sure, but the most important thing is that they did it while Baron was alive. I was talking about the mid-game potential of the Renekton. I didn't know that he was going to almost clean house.
And that's going to be
side.
a teleport coming in from Corki as well to try and get towards this Baron. But true shot! No! He gets the health coming out on towards Scuttle Crab.
Oh, the smite saves his life. But they do disengage from the Baron. I was going to say that was a very cocky Baron, but it was well-deserved given the flank that Sega had. It was way too risky coming in from SW, pushing their limits way beyond.
Ooh, package coming out from Raphael. They're able to lock down the Azir underneath the turret. Great arrow coming out from Ash from downtown. Sly taking a lot of damage from that package. Raphael and Sega looking to try and push forward, not able to get it.
Ultimately, it doesn't even matter how fed you are. If you are stunned for the entire duration, you're as squishy as any other Azir in any other situation. So being taken down in that 3v1 effectively with the Ash Arrow as well, now is the perfect time for AP to push this mid turret that they've that's been a thorn in their side for so long. Break the piggy bank.
I believe that's also a Trinity Force is coming up next for Ash.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Trinity Force. She wants to get herself to 40% CDR.
I don't know if this is a build that I'm familiar with. I'm almost tempted to go to pro builds and be like, all right, what's going on here on the project? Why do you have this item?
I'm going to be honest, I haven't really heard about it, but it does make sense in the sense that if you just want to be an arrow bot, then your job is fulfilled in that sense. 40% CDR and also additional damage after you use your W, which obviously will also be on 40% CDR. It's not the worst thing, I just haven't heard about it as the most optimal build.
And maybe I'm just being oblivious and this is what the pros are building. I've missed it.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I can understand it, but yeah, I would still just go standard ADC.
I don't believe myself. I'm actually going to go check it now.
Yeah.
But just to take stock of things while I do just that, Mountain Dragon is off. Steel Walls are going to try and take that one for themselves. Renekton can try and wrap around the bottom side, but I don't think he's going to be able to get anything out of that.
No control wards means that you can't get vision priority over. Also, no teleport onto Sega. Naturally, he was in position, but none of the rest of his teammates wanted to be around there either. Key note, we were talking about White Wing's ultimate being available. Guess what? It's available. But at this point, unless you catch out Pain alone again, you can't use it. And this is dangerous because Raphael is actually being collapsed on 3v1 and he has no real place to run.
Yeah, poor Raphael. Trying to do what he can. Pain's just going to wrap out. He decides, you know, I'm just going to take this CS.
Yep.
Fight to the death, do what I can, just being bounced around. That's a little bit brutal.
He couldn't even get any auto attacks off. That was just some hard CC, and immediately they pinged towards the Baron. Once again, very risky. Only one pickup available, and still the Ashe ultimate. Have to respect it and go for the pick instead, and they're collapsing.
Going to go over towards Alves. Gets him with the ultimate. Alves taking so much damage. Lockdown. Vance is going to be the first one to fall. Azure with a great ultimate coming out there. But Alves still alive. Living through all this damage. Still up in this one. Sega untouched the entire time. Only Pain left alive for the side of Steel Walls. Going to be hunted down by Armor Project. My goodness, what a big turnaround play from AP.
Yeah, spiking whenever he gets to the mid-game and immediately using that spike to influence the rest of the map. Before, it was so heavily in favor of Steel Wing, but now 14 kills to 14 kills. Actually a gold advantage going over to AP, and they turn their sides towards the Baron. Everybody has lived and died off of this Baron, and Pain is still alive.
And I just checked Trinity Force. Ashe with Comet and Essence Reaper is the staple meta build at the moment for Ashe.
There you go, 40% CDR.
Meanwhile, Alves going to get some good damage on towards this Baron, taking a lot in return. Sega going to try and get up there. Oh my god, good sniper. Look at this, two-shot barrage. Good flash away coming out for Alves. Armor Project is still sticking on this one. Vansu might look to try and get in here. Azure is close by as well. That's the second time Armor Project have been forced off of this Baron.
Mark my words, Fish. You live or die by the Baron, and this is the engage. Alves actually walking backwards, which is exactly where the Hecarim used his ultimate. But check out the Pop Blossom. Very well done by Azure, but even better done by Alves, surviving the initial burst and then getting the massive burst himself with his AP heavy build down, even killing Azure onto the backside. Eventually, Pain is the person who survives throughout all of that, and he is the Thorn that stops AP from fulfilling that Baron prophecy.
Brings it about 1,000 back in favor of Armor Project at the moment. Renekton is an absolute raid boss. Now 8-1 and 2, Spear of Sojin being picked up as well by the Crocodile Black Cleaver to boot.
He can dash anywhere he wants.
He can do whatever he wants. He's an interior crocodile alligator. No? He drives a Chevrolet movie theater.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Not Hecarim. What is it? Hysterics hits me with that all the time. I just give him nothing.
Good.
Good, but you just hit me with this.
I mean, that's fine. If you're not doing anything, that's your problem. Alves, again, taking away Vansu's ultimate.
Yep, just stealing that one away from himself. I think the Hecarim ultimate is actually very strong because it just allows you to reposition if nothing else. Even if you don't use it for the CC or for the raw damage alone, it means that you can get away from any of these very tricky engages. Just going to check in once again.
Oh my god, Ezreal being locked down. Doesn't get stunned in time, able to Arcane Shift back to safety. Sly looking for a hook, goes wide, but we just checked in with the gold graph there. Sega, 900 gold ahead of anyone on this map. Very big Crocodile.
And you got to give him props. I mean, the game's still early, and we can't call a winner definitively, but if it goes towards AP, you have to say that Sega is definitely in contention to get that MVP place, just because he was in a punishing lane, he didn't lose it too hard, and that he used his mid-game power spike to its maximum efficiency.
Something about MVPs fumbling at level 1 and then picking up MVP after.
Yeah, it's definitely a theme. Not a huge fan of the fumble, but I am a huge fan of picking it up after.
Yeah, nah, you know, what do you reckon? Yeah.
Ward's
being placed on the back of Baron Pit here. Alves going to try and sweep away as much as he can. Vansu just waiting to wing to the top of a ward. Spots it out. Package is available for Corki.
Interesting that they didn't actually pull the trigger, because you know when your own wards are going to expire. So usually people pull the trigger a couple of seconds before they actually do. Instead, Vansu walks out with his life and actually wants to re-engage.
Just trying to deny them from picking up that last bit of control ward damage, but not able to do so. Now going to clear out the wards in the back of the Baron Pit. Project don't really want to try and take this one just yet, but Renekton still pushing very aggressively in this bottom lane. Azure still able to hold his own quite nicely underneath the turret, but can't go toe-to-toe against this Renekton anymore. Level 16 on the Crocodile, so rank 3 ultimate is now available for him. That's a big spike for Sega.
Yeah, and you got to keep your eyes on his lane opponent as well. Azure, even though he had a great laning phase, 2 and 4 right now, not much of a priority to give.
Oh, they see it now. They're on Baron. I think they're a little bit too late to this one. Baron's being burst down.
Ash Arrow.
Big play from Steel Wolves. Arrow is going to connect, locking down Vansu, but he's going to be able to get out of this one. A-OK. Big, sneaky play coming out from Steel Wolves. Mountain Dragon for Baron. I think he called that one worth.
Yeah, however, now they have to wait to see just how much they lose. Of course, the first turret is going to fall because they got the inner track. However, now everybody's back on full health. Sega is half.
And it's still in favor of Steel Wolves at the moment. You look at the Baron buff. They've got 1,000 gold. You can see that at the top right-hand side of your screen. They're definitely going in favor of them at the moment. Steel Wolves going to be very happy that the trade, despite losing an objective for themselves, now looking to try and see if they can fight back. Ash Arrow almost back up again.
More importantly, AP can't actually back right here. If they do, they have to teleport, but the teleport's going to be too slow. They lose the turret.
Ash Arrow is back up, so if White Wing finds a chance to engage, he can. Alves is on the back lines if he wants to go for a flank.
Yeah, of course, but he hasn't stolen anybody's ultimate yet, so still got to decide which one. Thresh's ultimate is very nice, but you've got to get in.
Steel Wolves make the right play, pushing for the inhibitor turret here. Not the best of ideas, so they just move towards top side of the map, take what is considered the free objective of the top lane inner turret.
Yeah, they're just moving their way across, and it's just the inner track that they built for themselves. The additional movement speed coming off of that Cloud Drake paired with the Hecarim's build means that they can always move here. And the Baron minions are too tough to clear. I mean, combined between White Wing and also Raphael. Raphael does primarily magic damage, and White Wing is built primarily CC in his kit, so very difficult to clear out in general.
Well, all you got to do now is go back to base, rinse, repeat, take down the bottom lane in a turret. Let's see if they go do just that.
Oh, but Vansu's actually trying to check out to see if anybody moves over here. Raphael may be caught by this Hecarim, has got the ultimate available, so he tries to go for the 1v1.
Gonna try and see what I can do. Vansu getting some good damage on towards Raphael. Just pops him.
Yep.
The horsey on top of the Corki, not great.
No.
It's a bigger animal.
Yeah, obviously it was bound to work out that way. Raphael, caught in a really tough situation, actually walks forwards into that minion wave, nowhere else to run.
Oh my, Pain getting some good damage on towards Alves as well. Chunks him below half of his hit points, and they're going to continue pushing through here. No Corki available. Bottom lane is free to be taken too. Pain's just going to chip away at this turret. That's going to fall down. Meanwhile, the rest of Steel Wolves are trying to take down the mid lane inhibitor turret. Chipping away at that, or trying to push it in towards the base. White Wing doing a good job. Arrow going to connect, but Mikhail's Crucible being used quite nicely by Sly along with the Lantern to get them back to safety. Yep,
the biggest job for them right now is just to buy time for the bottom lane, because it is a free fire for Pain getting down this turret by himself.
Good damage.
Yeah, take a look at this. Nobody can even contest this huge cannon minion.
And he's just letting the cannon minion do what it does. Chip away at this turret nice and easy as you're keeping everyone else at bay. Raphael's back up. White Wing doesn't have his arrow though, so engage tools are not there for Armored Project at the moment.
And now that it's broken in the bottom lane, Fish, they can all start playing throughout here. If there's double cannon and they can break it.
Easy pick up. Bottom lane inhibitor is going to go down 5 minutes till that one spawns back up again. YJY just taking some free damage.
He definitely is an aggressive Ezreal. He always E's forward.
He's an E forward, Ezreal.
Yep.
Arrow is back up for White Wing, fires it off a cooldown and just goes right in between the entire team. Meanwhile, they try to lock down Pain, instantly killed here. Sega getting on top of them as you're trying to try and do what he can. Gets a big shield, trying to fall backwards. Alves almost there. Good hook over the wall coming out from Sly, gets him back to safety. But you still can't fight against Armor Project's lineup. It's just too strong at the moment.
Still, once again, it's well past his expiry date, but Sega, he tastes as good as he always does with that croc meat. Take a look at it. The engage was so well done from him, and also the dominance just providing the extra tankiness. Nobody on Steel Wolves had the damage to burst through him. You got Pain and you got YJY. Both of them need to focus on the damage dealers of AP. Completely ignored the Renekton, who just free farmed in the back of their composition.
No traditional AD carry, Ezreal, a caster carry who unfortunately would not have the raw damage that you need to deal with somebody like Renekton. Everyone else, AP Pain also getting locked down the entire team fight. Flashed on his head by Sega. Very well played from Armor Project. Fighting back. They do lose an inhibitor as well as another inhibitor turret. But they're okay at this point in time.
Yeah, and here's the deal. You actually need to use your Mystic Shots onto the Renekton because you've got an Iceborne Gauntlet to make sure that he's constantly slowed so that he can't actually chase everybody else on your team. But take a look at the build that YJY has gone for. The early armor penetration into what? Sega has no armor. He's built full damage and health.
Bork's going to help him out there against the full health build. But Mortal Reminder just... Is that even Mortal Reminder? Is that Lord Dominic's Regards? I can't remember which one's which.
That's a Mortal Reminder.
Mortal Reminder, going to be able to cut through some of the healing that they'll get from Potato. That is nice to have always. Double crit builds coming out from both White Wing as well as Raphael. They've got Infinity Edges each. 2 Trinity Forces and Essence Reapers being picked up as well. Meanwhile, Steel Wolves just say, you know, we're going to take minor objectives here and there. Pick up the Ocean Dragon. Elder Dragon's coming up next. Baron, less than a minute till that one's back up.
Yeah, and you know that this isn't a great situation for them to be in when they've got an open mid inhibitor, bottom lane inhibitor already fell, but they don't actually want to take the straight 5v5s because they're constantly afraid of Sega running rampant.
They could just wait though. Bottom lane has a massive creep wave that's pushing in with super minions. Raphael's been forced back to base, does have teleport. Corki, not the best teleport champion. But can still go back to base and deal with that one quite effectively. Meanwhile, look at this. Steel will say, you know, it's a good time for us to try and force a fight while he's back at base. Not able to get there in time. Going to go towards top side instead. Vance looking to try and charge, but they found Sega. Not going to be able to get him.
Yep, Sega just playing blocker to make sure that they can't actually walk through that little choke point, but still advantage to SW while Corki is pushing in the bottom lane to counteract the super minions.
They really want to try and get the teleport coming out from Corki. If they can pretend they're doing Baron, get the teleport and disengage, they'll be up a summoner spell now as Zero can try and work his magic. That's what they're going to try and do. 8,000 hit points, they go in. Sega going to jump in first. Pain in the backlines, throws out the ultimate, but he's going to be followed through by Alves. Sega is legendary as he takes him down. Lots of stasis inside the pit. White Wing is going to fall, but Ezreal falls on top of him, and that's going to be a 4-for-1 trade in favor of AP.
And they even take the Baron on the backside as well. Why fake it when you could do it for real? AP immediately pull the trigger, and they go for the fight. So much magic resisted shred from that Baron debuff alone, as well as the health debuff. All of a sudden, AP, they run ramp and combine between the Corki and also the Sylas.
And it's just late game here, Preacher. Nothing much you can really do against this AP composition. Tons of damage in the backlines, a big crocodile in the front with Alves, who just sustains through everything. This is going to be big. AP could potentially try and push for the win here. 10 seconds till anyone comes back up, but they're going to do the right thing, head back to base.
And you would imagine that their next objective is just to push out bottom lane, make sure that their inhib comes back up, only 1 minute left on it, and then try to get the opposing inhib as well. That is the real focal point. Apart from that, send 4 people mid, you know, it doesn't even matter. Just do the standard 4-1. Sega's got his teleport, as well as White Wing if he ever gets poked out. This is a very healthy team comp.
It seems like AP have Steel Wolves have let this AP composition go out of control. 10, 1, and 5 on the Crocodile. His only death being the one in solo lane against Azure.
This is looking good. It's looking very good for AP. I mean, the fact that this Renekton has got himself so far forward and he's just not falling off, even though we're heading well into the late game part when Renektons generally should, is testament to how well he played his power spike to the point where he's still very relevant. GA now picked up for his build to really cap it out. Means that the very next fight, you're going to have to deal with Renekton and the Renekton again.
White Wing's going to head back to base as well. You'd expect he should be able to complete his Zeal item here. Wouldn't be surprised he gets that one up now. Gets a rapid fire cannon for his troubles. That's big being picked up by White Wing.
Wouldn't even be surprised if the Corki built the exact same way. It's Boots difference with this ADC. It is the most optimal build for the Corki right now.
Just holding on here, 1:20 left on this Baron. Multiple players have gone back to base. Redemption being picked up by Yuumi already. Corki and Ashe, very strong. Front line coming in from AP, very strong as well. They're well and truly online, and they keep locking down Pain through his ultimate in these team fights. Yeah,
this is ridiculous. And with the Baron buff still going strong, ticking away, the 4-1 in the mid lane is looking so dire for SW. They haven't got any traditional wave clear, no ADC. But now Vansu.
Just a clone of Vansu coming out from the side of Azure, just trying to be cheeky with his Hecarim.
Oh, Sega doesn't actually want bot. He wants to go straight into the top lane, push the pressure point, and make him feel the pain.
Oh, he's got it. Nothing much the Steel Wolves can really do at the moment. Inhibitor is down. Super Minions are slowly marching in towards the base as well. Baron buff is big for them as well. Steel Wolves still trying to hold on to their last legs here.
So now we got to see AP. They're finally starting to barrel it down, turret down.
Let's see what they can do. They're going to try and jump in. Corki throws out the package. Big team fight going through here. Vansu gets a kill towards White Wing, but Unibi trades back on towards the AD carry of Steel Wolves. Azure in trouble, forced back to base. Alves in a lot of trouble too. He's going to go down, but look at Sega all the way into the back lines. Big damage coming out from here. Raphael stuck underneath the inhibitor, stuck underneath the fountain, and there's nothing much Steel Wolves can really do. They're on top of the base, and trying to do what they can. The last few auto attacks won't be enough. They're pushing it backwards, trying to do what they can. Sega's on the Nexus. He's going to be able to get one. Takes down two. Look at Pay, but he gets the shutdown coming out from Azir. Nexus still standing. Raphael doing what he can. Falc's on his face, and he gets him. Ace being picked up here by AP.
Oh no, you hate to see it. Pain actually uses shift forward. It may be a fumble. I don't know what the calculation was, but at the end of the day, AP win that last fight. 2 men standing.
Taking it down against Steel Wolves in game 1 of this best of 3 series. Big pickup coming up from Armored Project.
Yeah, that was so well played from them. And look, I'm going to retract my words. The early game went so far in the favor of Steel Wolves. However, they didn't manage to push it hard enough. And as soon as the teleport ultimate mid-game combination was online for Sega, he abused it. That Renekton was everywhere.
No, there was nothing they could do as soon as the Armored Project team composition came online. very difficult for Steel Wolves to even find a foot in the game, despite having so many different types of leads. Baron buff available to them. Early game going their way. A few too many fumbles. Big plays coming out from the side of Armor Project.
Yeah, but you've got to say that even in the mid-game, there was a spark of chance. You saw that there was a Baron that went over to Steel Wolves. You saw that they were pushing in, actually took down the bottom inhib, but didn't actually push their opportunities. That eventually next Baron came up, and that Renekton was just way too strong.
Oh, sure was. Sega was really big, Alvis really big. Damage Steel is doing a fantastic job as well. Way too many ways to lock down the side of Steel Wolves. Their composition was a little bit all over the place very early game, a lane heavy focus, but didn't see too much else coming out from them.
Yeah, but you also have to give props to the Ashe and also the Corki as well. Very similar builds, very different roles. The CC coming out from the Ashe, and also the raw damage, the magic damage coming out from Corki, all of his kits. So we got to watch out for this one. This was the very aggressive Baron, but you can already see the debuff ticking down onto them. As soon as it does, check out the positioning that Corki has, just free firing onto all of them, and there's nothing that they can actually do in order to stop the damage onslaught. And it was just a leash of the Baron as well. They didn't even let it reset.
No one could even stop the dives into the backlines coming out from Alves as well as Sega on that run. So you see ebb and flow of that match. AP consistently fighting back in the early game. 4,000 gold lead for Steel Wolves, but at the end of the day, it was really the Sega and Alves show, diving into the backlines. Pain, although he did the most damage to that match, constantly locked down over and over and over again by multiple members from Armor Project. Hats off to them. They pick up the first game.
Yeah, and I did actually want to mention Pain. However, the fact that he was constantly caught out, we saw it before. He was 4-0 at one point, but that matters for naught when you're actually being caught out by an Ashe Arrow and you can't do any damage back to the people who are collapsing onto you. Doesn't matter, and slowly he threw that lead.
And of course, it's going to be Sega 12-8 on his Crocodile, picking up MVP. Whew, well played.
That's it. He actually died solo in the 1v1 in lane
very early on as well.
Yeah, into the Nico, and from that point onwards, we saw that the Nico had a 2-level advantage at one point onto the Renekton. We were like, great, this isn't going to be a game for the Renekton, but just held his own, didn't go more aggro than he absolutely needed to, and then used the spike that he got.
Oh yeah, pulled his way back into the game quite nicely there. Well played coming out from Sega. Was able to come back into the match, be a key member of the team to take home the victory for Armor Project. I mean, he was a rock of a croc, basically.
Yeah, he did so much work for his team. And not only that, but he built the correct way as well.
Yes.
If he built full tank in order to be a significant frontline for his team, everybody would have just ignored him and gone onto his backline. So the fact that he built so heavily AD as well, that Spirit Shojin as well as the Titanic Hydra, meant that everybody had to focus the croc, while everybody else, like the Corki and the Ashe, were just free firing.
Yeah, so really well played coming out from Armor Project, turning that game around against Steel Wolves, but that was just the first game of a best of 3. Steel Wolves still have an opportunity to try and pull this one back with the last 2 sets of the day.
Yeah, of course, and really anything can happen. I mean, that early game went so heavily towards their favor, didn't end up working. I would have to expect, coming into the very next game, that a Renekton is on the ban.
Yeah, well, let's see what happens going into game number 2. It's 1-0 in favor of Armor Project. We're going to take a break. We're back shortly.